Can you buy rentals with no money and no partner needed? Hasn't just about everybody talked about owning rental properties at some point in their life? It's basically the American dream to get monthly cash flow that's coming in instead of paying monthly cash flow for your residence. But most people never do it. And they don't do it because they can't get the capital for it. So let's talk about it. Typically, when you're gonna buy a rental property, you're gonna have to put 20% down. You're gonna have to have 6 months rent coverage in your account. It varies by what lender. So this could be $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. So you could say, hell, I'll go find a partner, and the partner could bring that $30,000 or $40,000. But that doesn't always work. And what if you can't find a partner, or the partner doesn't want to do it, or the lender won't allow the partner to bring that money unless they're signing on the loan, and they may not want to sign on the loan? What do you do? If you don't have money, you don't have a partner that can bring that money to the table, how do you do this? Well, did you know that you could buy rental properties using hard money? This is a really interesting concept that can help you do that with very little to no money down. I'm gonna run through that. Let's jump to the whiteboard. This is a strategy that we call BRRR, okay? BRRR. Buy, rehab, rent, and refinance. This is basically the idea. Okay, let's say you could buy the property for, we're just gonna use simple numbers here, guys. Don't leave me crappy comments because I'm using numbers. You're like, oh, it's a lot more in my area. I understand. Let's keep the math simple. Let's say you're buying a property for $100,000. Let's say you're gonna spend $200,000 or $20,000 fixing it up. So this is the purchase. This is the fix up. You're gonna have closing costs, taxes, payments, that type of stuff. So let's just say there's another $10,000 with those types. We're gonna call it title. We're gonna talk origination, maybe some payments. Maybe it's even $15,000 because that can get expensive with things. So basically what you're into this is $135,000. If you could get a lender that would lend you the full $135,000, which would pay for the payments, the title, the fix and flip, and the purchase, then you would be coming in with little to no money down in purchasing this property. But wait, it actually gets better. Then what happens is, with your lender's approval, you then rent this property. Now, lots of times the lender is gonna say, hey, if you're gonna rent this property, we wanna make sure the rent is being paid to us, and we'll credit that towards your loan. And you're gonna say, no problem. They don't wanna have you pocketing that money. And they wanna make sure they know the lease agreement and the tenant and approval and those types of things. No problem. But let's say they're in there and they're paying $1,500 a month. What that just did is gave you more income of that $1,500 a month. That $1,500 a month times 12 is, what is that? $15,000 a year. Let's check my math. 1,500 times 12, 18,000. Boy, I was off. 18K a year. So your income just went up $18,000 a year. Now, yes, there's expenses associated with the property. I get that. But what's gonna happen is that is gonna help what's called your debt to income ratio. Now, before you start any of this, you're gonna wanna get it pre-approved with a lender. So you are gonna have to have a job and job history, and you are gonna have to have a reasonable credit score in order for this strategy to work. Now, if you have those things, what you're going to do is, once the tenant's in there, you are gonna do what's called a rate and term refinance. Okay. Now, refinances are quite a bit easier to get than purchases because a lender's already taking a risk on you and you've got a track record with that. Rate and term. So let's say the rate of your hard money loan is 18%. So the rate, you're saying my current rate's 18 and I want to get it down to 5%. That's called a rate. Now the term, my loan was for 6 months and I want to get it down, I want to get to a 30-year type loan. So this is the rate, this is the term, and what you're doing is saying, hey, I want to do a rate and term refinance. Now, you want to get pre-approved for that rate and term finance before you purchase the property. Your hard money lender is more than likely going to require that. They're going to want to make sure the work gets done completely. They'll give you the money to do the purchase, they'll give you the money money to do the rehab. They want to make sure that's done properly. They'll be there through the rental process, and then you've got to find the lender to go through the refinance process. You've got to do that in advance. They'll refinance. Now, how do typical refinances work like this? Well, let's just get us a clean slate here. Let's just say, like, we're into that property, $135,000. Okay, this is where the rubber really meets the road. 135 is what they're into the property. Okay, you've got to be. Most lenders are going to want to have 20 to 25% of equity in that property. So, the question you want to ask the lender is what type of LTV, which means loan to value, are you willing to do? So if a lender says we'll do 80% loan to value, that means if the value of the property is $100,000, they will give you $80,000. Now again, this is the value of the property, not what you owe on the property. If they say we'll do 75%, it means they'll give you $75,000 if the value of the property is $100,000. So let's just do some simple math here, right? $135,000. Let's just give it 25% on top of that. That's going to be about $33,750. So 135. So we would need the value of this property to be right around, let's just call it a cool 170. If the value of that property is 170, when it's fixed up with all the work being done to it and the appraisal comes in for that, and they can get you an 80% loan to value, then you would have $136,000, which would allow you to pay off the hard money lender, which you put very little to no money down. Now, is there going to be some title fees? Yes. Is there going to be some taxes you're going to have to deal with? Yes. There's going to be some things, not income taxes, but property taxes and those things. So yes, there's going to be some fees. That's why I say little to no money. But the ideal thing is you've got to buy a property where you're into the property with the purchase, the rehab, the title fees, and the loan fees and interest. You've got to be under that 70%. If you are, that's going to give you enough. 70 to 80% is what I would say. 70% is ideal. 75% works. 80% is pushing it a little bit because you are going to have to do that refinance. So the idea here is if you've got a job and you've got decent credit and you've got job history, if you can find a lender, a hard money lender, and a traditional lender that will do a rate and term refinance that will pre-approve you for that, assuming you're getting that rental income already, and get you a pre-approval letter, you can take that to the hard money lender. You need a hard money lender that'll do the purchase, the rehab, the closing costs, and the title fees, as well as roll payments in or have payments be a part of that. And if you can do that and you can get that property somewhere between 70 and 80% of what it'll be worth once the work is actually done, then you can go to that long-term finance lender and say, hey, let's do an 80% rate and term refinance. You've already been pre-approved for that. The property's in good condition. Appraisal comes in and you've got it. This is what we call a BRRRR. Buy the property, rehab the property, rent the property, and resell the property. If you would like to learn how to do BRRRR deals, you can read more about it on our website at dohardmoney.com. Check it out and make it a profitable day.